Death Stranding was the first Hideo Kojima game that seemed to end and didn't require a sequel to tie up any loose threads. So of course he made a sequel where he pretended to leave a lot of loose ends and spent 60 hours stitching them together and downplaying the core interesting gameplay of navigating dangerous terrain while carrying comically large loads and peeing all over ghosts in favor of making it a dollar store Metal Gear Solid. I'm being overly mean, so let's recalibrate and see if I can be professionally vicious instead. Hideo Kojima's writing is so flimsy it could be written on dryer lint. He pitches games like a man writing mid-anaphylactic shock, that pre-EpiPen delirium. That's where he mines the human condition for exposition dumps that feel like being trapped in an elevator with a popular science editor that's weirdly invested in theoretical Cetesian philosophy. Did you know this flying whale symbolizes the commodification of loneliness through late-stage capitalist ideals? No, Hideo, and I'm filing a restraint order against your metaphors. Little wonder why his characters monologue like they're testifying before Congress about Wi-Fi router manuals disproving the existence of hummingbirds. His games are badly written, but Kojima's talent is wrapping trash fire prose around concepts so bizarre you can't look away. It's a $100 million taxidermy narwhal in a meth lab. Baffling, vaguely threatening, yet undeniably art. You want to call the authorities, but you're not sure which ones. Many claim Death Stranding's plot left them feeling like they were just pitched on cryptocurrency by their grandpa who still refers to Facebook as the Google. But that confusion is mainly derived from Kojima prioritizing the visual before the purpose. At its simplest, it's a post-apocalyptic world occupied by Amazon fulfillment centers, their unpaid employees, and social media-addicted shut-ins who are at the mercy of deliverymen and the porch pirates and ghosts they battle. But it's also a game that Kojima is convinced no one is paying attention to, so every concept is so over-explained by text, dialogue, footnotes, and on-screen clutter that it makes your average pharmaceutical commercial seem refreshingly concise. It's like being aggressively read the terms of service by a caffeinated sleep paralysis demon. Kojima loves expository dialogue that explains every little detail of something he is excited by, but often forgets that not everyone has the same passion for news articles about miraculous oncological breakthroughs that are just a few years away like he is. But here's the twist. Not only do I enjoy Death Stranding 2, I like that it's accidentally the most honest open world game ever developed. In this dry and uninspired game business, a Hideo Kojima game can make one feel like a zoo elephant on its birthday being fed an entire wheelbarrow of watermelons. Death Stranding 2 is a result of spending AAA development dollars to make a product that rips away the illusion that other games hope you don't notice. With few exceptions, games are about making your way from point A to point way the hell over there with something important in tow. Games may dress it up as escorting a traumatized child or returning a magic crystal, but they're fundamentally the same thing. A delivery sim. Kojima simply ripped off the velvet curtain to reveal the sad, sweaty forklift simulator that every game actually is underneath its costume jewelry. For lack of a better tag description, I label Death Stranding as a cozy game. It's Stardew Valley for doomsday preppers. Deliver parcels, build infrastructure for others, be wished happy birthday by all the characters in the game, sip Monster Energy while pondering the void. It's a meditation on the brutal poetry of logistics, and several of Kojima's favorite kinks. Sam's bunker is hidden by a hologram of BTs and rain. Why make such a show out of staring down his own security system? I don't mad dog my Ring camera when I come home. The life of a single dad isn't made any easier when you live in the post-apocalypse, but Kojima is doing his best to make it seem happy and rewarding. He even paid a lot of money to license Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, so prepare for him to use it at every opportunity. Those extra hands can't be useful enough to warrant how annoying they would be right next to your head.
But I'm afraid that Death Stranding is far from over. Humanity is still in danger. Still on the brink of extinction.
You mean saving America alone didn't somehow save the entirety of humanity? I'm shocked. Kojima treats dialogue like he's making a documentary instead of a character drama. People will breathlessly over-explain every topic instead of speaking like an actual human. Honestly, Kojima's best writing occurs when he's being weird and goofy. He's closer to writing actual humans when he's depicting a pizza chef throwing down with dough-based martial arts than any scene where the characters are standing around a hologram giving TED Talk presentations.
A Pass 4000 has revolutionized the whole process. It utilizes the Chiral network to manage and carry out deliveries. Within network coverage, there's no need to rely on human porters anymore.
I recall being told back in the first game that automation could never take over the process of delivery and that humans were required. The whole point was making human connections again. So they built the chiral network and then turned it over to machines to once again close people off from one another. Oh, that's the message, isn't it, Kojima?
We decided to call ourselves Drawbridge. And we still require the services of human porters that can work outside the network.
Good for you on finding a niche. Bad news is your new job is to link up new areas of the world to the network, which will then replace you with automation. So eventually you'll be out of work again.
Sam, I'm asking you to go to Mexico. To extend the chiral network to the south.
You realize you are asking a man who doesn't speak Spanish to take responsibility for connecting Mexico to the chiral network. Speaking the language seems important for establishing connections there, doesn't it? Luckily, no one in Mexico speaks Spanish either.
They're not trying to take over the world. They just want to link up new areas with the chiral network. Like the internet before the Death Stranding. Public infrastructure to connect people.
The only service the new American government offers is connection to the chiral network, so it goes without saying that you are colonizing even if it's done by a supposed private company, and you never seek permission from Mexico and Australia to cross their borders and do any of this.
Spirits of the dead washed up from the other side were stranded there just like everywhere else. Any human corpse that hasn't been properly disposed of will become a BT.
Let me explain the basics of the world to a man who knows all of it from first-hand experience.
No! No!
-621.
Refuse the job twice, and Kojima will prank you by pretending to make you redo the opening mountain trek. That's the kind of trolling I like to see from a developer.
What about Lou, though? It's not like I can take my kid with me.
You did exactly that across all of America, no matter how dangerous it got. Bridges once again went ahead and built all the infrastructure needed in Mexico to link it up with the chiral network, but didn't bother bringing the Cupid keys with them. A lot has been said about the gameplay of Death Stranding, chiefly that it's the Gran Turismo of walking simulators, which is either the highest praise or most devastating insult depending on your relationship with attention deficit disorder. There was a lot of disappointment that it wasn't Metal Gear Solid and instead focused more on the cardboard boxes found inside Metal Gear Solid. The difference was that Death Stranding made geography itself the primary antagonist. Figuring out how to navigate rough terrain became a unique puzzle-solving experience that actually felt innovative. The mountain didn't want you to succeed. And frankly, it had some very compelling arguments. I even enjoyed the social media network built into the game, a system where yours and other players' constructions cross-pollinated to create a collaborative infrastructure. It was like LinkedIn, but useful and without the motivational quotes about grinding. Had Kojima doubled down on this mechanic, being nominated for Game of the Year by Jeff Keighley would have actually been warranted instead of being sycophantic. Instead, it's barely changed and has become significantly easier. I spent most of Death Stranding 2 cruising around in a truck across terrain so accommodating it might as well have been a mall parking lot. The only time I found myself walking was during the mountain section toward the end, which felt less like overcoming a hostile environment and more like Kojima grudgingly admitting his original idea was worth preserving for at least an hour of the game's runtime. The focus seems to have been making it more like Metal Gear Solid. There's far more enemies, human BT and now robots that all need a good thrashing, and you fight all of them the exact same way since the whole piss and blood grenade mechanic has largely been dropped. So now the same bullets that will non-lethally take down a human will also exercise BTs and shred robots. Not to mention all three enemy types can be stealth, but since the AI is dumber than a rock that just discovered that it's a rock, it makes their threat rather illusionary. The multiplayer experience is all about helping other players by building structures that will appear in their game at the same location, and I do appreciate that it can only be used to make another player's game easier on return trips to an area, but far too often it led to exciting moments where you discover a bridge that is sitting in the middle of a sand dune bridging nothing, a zipline with zero connections to other ziplines, a watchtower that serves no real purpose, and glowing graffiti on every delivery center ramp to get free likes when you drive through them. I never understood why everyone in the world adopted this terrible hologram technology that doesn't even work in the building it's installed in unless you're connected to the chiral network. Sam heads to his private room and dreams of that first trailer for Death Stranding 1.
I'll admit, the stuff is pretty new to me, but the app has been a big help. Figuring out why a baby's crying, getting the milk just warm enough. It's had the perfect advice for every situation.
This looks and sounds like a commercial for a babysitting app. These people staffing the Amazon fulfillment center sure can talk a lot to a guy who just stands there and blankly stares at them. I guess when you don't have to pee in a bottle to fill your delivery quota, you end up with a lot of extra downtime. Every NPC will treat you exactly how Jeff Keighley treats Hideo Kojima at the Game Awards. Deep and fervent idolization. It gets so tiresome that the villain Higgs became the most sought-after person just because I wanted an honest opinion.
The water carried it into bandit territory, so we're in no position to reclaim it ourselves.
I feel like asking your delivery man to infiltrate a bandit camp to take back packages stolen from you is a bit beyond his pay grade. Ask your Uber Eats person to sneak into a local drug den to get your stolen property back, and note the stare they give you.
We just shared some data with you that'll let you fabricate blood grenades. A kind of anti-BT weapon.
Must be nice researching and discovering technology that was invented years ago. Why does Sam even have the option of asking what a blood grenade is? His blood was used to invent them. I wasn't as impressed by Kojima's lo-fi playlist this time around.
It's hard to know when this giant BT is going to appear. So for now, you should rest up in your private room and prepare for a potential fight.
We know a huge monster is on the way, but instead of preparing for that, go sleep in your private room while we take no precautions. Sam is fortunate he's immortal because he has a bad habit of chugging down energy drinks and tea, then injecting strange blood bags he finds lying on the ground.
It's been too long, Sam.
Deadman programmed this message to play once Sam was asleep. Real dick move. I bet he wouldn't do that if he were still alive. Kojima respects your intelligence. That's why when he has to explain complex concepts, he resorts to Guillermo del Toro using bath toys. According to Deadman, as Sam spread the chiral network across North America, a plate gate developed in southern Mexico. Animals started coming across not native to this area, then people who spoke English. They were Australian. That's right, we're finished with Mexico. All the setup that this game would be about connecting Mexico to the chiral network was bullshit. Most of the game takes place in Australia. I'm not sure why Canada has been completely ignored in this situation. It would even let you link up one of the last remaining pieces of US territory, Alaska, which I guess doesn't count toward Plategate progress.
The UCA may not have dreams of conquest and control, but they aren't about to let just anyone use the gate.
If the UCA is so intent on not colonizing other countries, how come they have so much say and control over the Plategate deep into Mexico's territory?
Mind if I pause it here? I have to go take a shower.
This is the first time I can recall a game pausing its own cutscene, so I can have a boss fight. Deadman's message wakes Sam up a second time. That had to be intentional.
That's BB-28?
This is the child officially identified as BB-28. But if you look closer, Sam, you see at once that it can't possibly be Lou. Right there at the elbow, where the birthmark should be. Nothing.
No, that's from the Death Stranding Collector's Edition. And Deadman took it out of the box, ruining its value, to prove this point that BB-28 is not BB-28. This scene feels like a rabid collector complaining to staff about some mess up with his merchandise.
An assortment of vaccines to be administered as your child grows up. We want Lou to live a long and healthy life.
This is the first time I can recall a game calling out anti-vaxxers. Deadman discovered that he has a beach like other living humans despite the particular artificial nature of his existence, and so, before dying, made this TikTok of him wading into his beach. Then also made a bitching samurai robot so he could use that to hang out with the living whenever he wanted. The man just invented the best afterlife possible.
Did you know about this?
No. It's news to me too.
Does no one get a choice in accepting calls and messages in these rooms? Fragile was even listening in on Deadman's private message. Is Sam ever going to notice that Fragile no longer has her timefall-aged body? I feel like that should spark his curiosity. Kojima has already played around with the cyborg ninja concept so much that he's doing it just for pure fanbaiting at this point. I'm willing to bet no one has ever escaped from anything on a unicycle. I don't know if it's possible to roll out of a crash like that without the baby strapped to your chest being harmed, but that's what happened here. Since Fragile can't see Lou as cargo, she can't jump away with her, so she jumped Lou out by herself and was shot by Higgs, who must have temporarily lost his tendency for sadism since he just strolled up and shot her without saying a word. This is only the lady who killed him in the last game. Fragile managed to jump Lou away to safety by remaining behind to be shot, but without a shred of evidence, she claims Lou is dead because she saw Lou lying still on the ground. Lou's death is so abrupt and accepted so quickly, without even looking for a body, that Sam begins hallucinating Lou inside her BB pod as soon as he hears the news. Earlier, Kojima pranked you for refusing the mission by pretending he was going to make you do the mountain trek all over again. Now that he has you locked in, he makes you do the mountain trek again anyways. I hate to call unaliving overly dramatic, but Sam is a repatriate. He'll just come back and he knows it. Since Sam now believes Lou is a BB in the pod, why is he depressed like he knows she's dead? He's killed himself so many times the pistol ran out of ammo. A weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Metal Gear legally distinct.
It's time for you to hit the road and start a new journey.
Given the context, it's incredibly cruel of Fragile to ask Sam continue doing this job. Since the last time he did a favor for her, she got his kid killed. But Sam quietly goes along with this despite there being nothing in it for him. This is the same guy that had to be baited into traveling across America because he was told his sister was being held hostage.
Hold up. Where's the pod? Where's Lou?
Settle down, Sam. Lou's with me.
Fragile pretends like Lou is actually there since she has a very misguided and harmful idea of how to help Sam cope. You already got his kid killed, lady. You don't need to screw with his head.
This is the ship's armory. Here you can check your weapons and put them through their paces.
I don't believe you guys planned very well if your armory contains only 2 guns. But then again, I print weapons whenever I need them, so I don't see the point of an armory at all.
Meet Tarman, our resident doctor and geophysicist.
Does anyone in this world ever go by their actual name except for Sam? Every male character is some type of noun man, while every female character is an adjective or adverb. At some point, Kojima needs to stop casting famous directors and actually learn from them.
So this is a submarine?
Spot on.
For a submarine, the Magellan is about as badly designed for its purpose as it can be. with hard right angles to increase drag and vents and openings everywhere.
Our destination is on the other side, Australia, which we've been asked to link up next.
The most unrealistic thing in this game isn't the supernatural, it's building high-speed internet inside Australia.
Little puppet?
What? Puppet? No, no! No, I am alive, and my own master.
Oh, come on. If you don't want to be called a puppet, don't let people call you Dollman.
This is Dollman. A man whose cow wound up stuck inside a... Well, you get it.
You know what? I don't get it. The origin of Dollman's name isn't clear enough to me. Can you help a guy out and give me a 5-minute hologram presentation on it?
Where are you?
Sam, that pod is empty.
Instead of playing into Sam's delusions to talk him into going on a dangerous job, maybe get the man some grief counseling. Actual grief counseling. Dollman doesn't count.
Really, Sam? Your buttocks?
Considering how often I have to whip it out and piss in this game, being in the front is going to be a lot more awkward for you. Since Lou's pod is empty, how does Sam see visions of a past event while connecting to it like he did in the first game? Even Dollman sees them, so the visions are for real. Sam doesn't seem that suspicious of these red robe cultists making their way through the plate gate. I mean, he was only attacked by red robots and so were Fragile and Lou, and this isn't that far from where that occurred. The Death Stranding is an extinction event that is supposed to wipe out the apex species to allow for something new to take its place, but also somehow create an instantaneous transportation system between continents.
Hello, Sam. My name is Charlie.
Charlie is Drawbridge's mysterious patron, but because Sam won't work with him without a face, he recommends Sam choose the voice and face of one of his old comrades, of which you can only select Die Hardman. When you need to remain anonymous, it's better to not give away your identity by pretending to be the person you actually are.
How about now, Sam? Feeling more at ease already, I'm sure.
You tell me, old buddy, if this is a UCA sanctioned op, who knows about it?
Why does using Die Hardman's voice convince Sam to go along with it? Sam is intentionally deluding himself more over Charlie than Lou.
Previously, the president was subject to the will of the people via popular vote every 4 years. APAS, however, is far more efficient. It can ascertain public opinion in real time and thereby determine the appropriate course of action.
This is sounding less and less like we saved America and instead just installed a technocracy. Oh, that's the message, isn't it?
President guy?
President man. Or just president, if you will. Regardless, Senator Armstrong finally got off the nanomachines, I see.
You see, the plate gate that connects North America and Australia only matured after you united America with the chiral network. On that basis, we believe that a new gate will manifest somewhere within Australia once full chiral connectivity is achieved.
How does a spirit world connected internet, or whatever the chiral network is, spontaneously create portals to other continents? I get that it's another metaphor about connecting people, but this is taking it a step too far into extreme convenience. Kojima couldn't get Amelie's actress to return to voice lines, so she just sort of appears from time to time in Sam's vision and he never wonders what that was all about.
Your first destination is home to what they're calling the government. They seek to establish a new administration to fill the void left by Australia's collapse. As the concept of formal governance is a distant memory to most, they opted for a simple name.
As did everyone else. They went so simple and stereotyped that old Oz has a handkerchief in the shape of the Australian Opera House. The government are trying to establish a new government for the people of Australia. So of course the first thing they do is accept the connection to the chiral network and therefore put themselves in their new country at the mercy of a foreign government. Kind of accurate for an Australian government.
You should head back to your room and rest up.
Come back to the Magellan, Sam, so you can have a dream about the end of the first game and we can reuse some assets. These BB pod visions still have incredibly selective editing to avoid giving away the point until the game is ready.
I'm part of the chiral network, which means everyone can finally listen to my songs.
This man has been dying to connect to Spotify so he can upload his latest tracks. Troy Baker, returning as Higgs, steals the f***ing show. His performance here elevates the game from a lo-fi gaming experience to smoking meth out of a used condom level of insanity. Sam doesn't put much effort into pulling his gun on people. As soon as Higgs grabs a barrel, he voluntarily puts it away.
I'm just a ghost. Come to take my revenge on you and that bitch Fragile.
Considering what Higgs did to Fragile back in Mexico, he should have said he's here to take revenge on Sam, since he already took revenge on Fragile and doesn't know her current state.
Even if you don't know a goddamn thing about Lou.
Unless Amelie told him, Higgs couldn't know much about Lou. Higgs wants to stop Sam from linking up Australia, but he also has the personality of an online troll who couldn't exist without such connections to exploit.
Just a good old-fashioned boss fight.
This is your new meme, isn't it, Kojima? It's a weird choice because you don't even put half the effort into designing boss fights anymore. I know the game uses the same engine as Horizon Zero Dawn, but do you have to copy the big robot fights from it as well? I'm shooting the same glowing weak points that Aloy would.
They were all in red. Just like the ones at your place. That could have been him too.
You think that was Higgs? Did you see him hurt Lou?
Did neither of you ever wonder why a bunch of red robots appeared in Mexico and targeted you? That would be the first thing I would want to know about after surviving it. The wrong person is having this nightmare. How does Sam have a dream of events that happened to Fragile that he never witnessed?
On this occasion, you'll be delivering some heavy materials. You can use a tri-cruiser to transport them. Alternatively, floating carriers can now be fabricated.
Sam isn't the new intern, you know. All of these people explain the basics of the job and equipment that Sam is already familiar with, seeing as he's the only one who ever uses it and previously linked up all of America. All of Kojima's fetishes are present: piss, feet, and sunglasses.
It is arguably symbolic of the multiracial United States, a gathering of souls that transcends ethnic and national divisions, united in pursuit of a singular goal. I can't help but be reminded of Kojima Productions. Wait, judging by your reaction, you've never heard of Kojima Productions?
Come on, Kojima. That's 2 games now. I get it. You like Moby Dick and you like its message. But you can't go comparing your own company to it. I've seen the credits for your company. It's almost entirely Japanese. Tarman left a photo of his son in his copy of Moby Dick. This would be the son he lost while hunting a supernatural whale. Things just don't line up this poetically, Kojima.
Something akin to a phantom pain.
With all these Metal Gear Solid Easter eggs, I suspect Kojima feels that phantom pain over the series he created and then lost.
I was both a medical doctor and a geophysics researcher once upon a time.
That is an unlikely combination of PhD degrees.
Strip yourself in, son.
Tar's looking calm. I'll be fine, Pop.
And with that, whatever pity I might have felt for Tarman's son is gone and replaced with the same smugness you feel when watching obvious OSHA violation videos on Reddit. The Tarcat is either the soul of Tarman's son or something Kojima thought of on a whim and won't bother coming up with an explanation for until the sequel when it will become incredibly important. Some writers think of subtlety as cowardice. Kojima takes it a step further, seeing it as an enemy to be defeated. Why else introduce a character named Rainy who sings "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head" while dancing in the rain? Rainy has the ability to cause rainstorms that counter the effects of timefall. Instead of using this gift to keep infrastructure working or heal those injured by timefall, Fragile recruited her to be a crew member to look cute, I think? She puts out a fire or two. Could have just had a fire extinguisher. All too often, Kojima directs scenes like this. He'll have a character react strongly to something, and then completely forget how they responded in the very next scene. Rainy got freaked out by Sam and ran back into her bunker, but then Sam follows her in and she walks right past him humming "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head" while ignoring him like he isn't there. It's inconsistent with the behavior she just displayed. Why was Rainy in the middle of Australia if Fragile recruited her back in America? Why send her out here to wait if you just had to pick her up? If I had a nickel for every time Kojima featured flaming whales, I'd have 2 nickels. But unlike how this overused comment is supposed to end, I don't find it that odd. Referencing the same weird idea multiple times is Kojima's signature. As Rainy puts out the wildfire, Fragile explains that Rainy had volunteered for motherhood with Bridges, but because of chiral network climate change, the beach multiverse is disrupted and is causing still baby syndrome, where unborn baby's development is frozen at 7 months while the mother remains pregnant indefinitely. Rainy also causes it to rain whenever she goes outside, and this caused the people she lived with to consider her a witch. They must not have wanted to miss out on the traditional throwing of the rocks at the exile because they track her down while she's running away, just so they can scream at her to leave. As in the first game, Sam will occasionally be pulled into the realm of the dead to fight a person he doesn't know, but is somehow connected to BBs. These fights play out exactly the same as they did against Mad Mikkelsen. You shoot a few skeleton Call of Duty soldiers, defeat Solid Snake, and then he mutters something confusing and it ends just so it can be repeated again later. It was one of the more boring and pointless moments of the previous game. But at least in the original Death Stranding, these moments broke up the delivery gameplay with some combat. But in Death Stranding 2, there is already plenty of combat, so it's unneeded.
Did he say Nirvana? Is he implying this is some sort of realm for the enlightened?
That, or his favorite grunge band. There's a blonde girl running around this battlefield as well that Sam returns with. It was pretty obvious to me that this was a grown-up Lou, but I'll let Kojima pretend he pulled one over on everyone. Sam awakens to Tasmanian devils chewing on the blonde girl inside a cocoon. Another brilliant hint at her identity. Then a robot dog comes out of nowhere and chases them away and disappears itself with no explanation for being there.
I named her myself. Tomorrow.
Elon Musk is better at naming his children than Fragile is at naming her friends. Was Susan not an option?
Brigands to the west of the facility have got their hands on a large stockpile of weapons and have taken it back to their base.
When does Sam get to say, I'm a porter, not a soldier? Solid Snake put up more of a resistance over being sent into danger he didn't sign up for than Sam does.
Raindrops are falling on my head.
Do you know any other songs? I've been unlocking Kojima's Spotify playlist one delivery at a time. Dollman is doing music videos to them. Can you maybe learn one of them? I'm not asking a lot here. Kojima, do you really need to retread the Sunny character from Metal Gear Solid 4 again, when you're already spiritually redoing Solid Snake, Gray Fox, and Liquid Snake in this game? Anything Tomorrow touches is affected by accelerated aging, but plenty of other things she touches don't age, such as her clothes or shoes and other people. Sam is the only person in a video game who can eat an apple and not eat it like an asshole, which means I'm retiring this sin and will never use it again.
You want to send her back to that hellhole?
If that's where her family is, it's where she belongs.
This conversation about Tomorrow didn't need to happen, but it does just so Tomorrow can overhear it and decide to leave and return to the world of the dead. Like, who would seriously suggest sending a living woman back to the world of the dead because it's where they found her and where her family would be? Just let go of the gun the robot is holding. You're not being restrained. Kojima can't get away with nearly naked female characters anymore, so he has to settle with bare feet. I think we can add mute autistic girls who kick ass and spontaneously accumulate eyeshadow to Kojima's list of fetishes, because after Quiet and now Tomorrow, a trend is developing. Hartman wasn't on the nose enough with his theme, so now he has heart-shaped glasses, wears his heart outside of his body, and carries a spare heart in a travel case. Thank you for inventing the vomit glory hole, Kojima. How many of your vaguely disguised fetishes am I going to be exposed to during this?
What about when I was putting Mexico on the grid? Or my work in Australia? Have I been condemning kids this whole time?
Worry not, Sam. The new Cupid model does not require a human catalyst.
All that networking you did across the US though, however? Many babies were sacrificed to make that happen, and we never thought to tell you.
To secure test subjects, it seems Bridges smuggled pregnant women into the country from Mexico, among other places.
It's only when talking sensitive issues that Kojima shows restraint and subtlety. He's trying to make a statement about immigration. Essentially, BBs are undocumented laborers, but since creating a character named Immigrant Man wasn't an option, he leans in a metaphor that needs to be interpreted.
Now, the first expedition also set off 4 years ago, and they could surely have made use of another functional BB unit. Yet again, for reasons unknown, Lou remained in storage. So did they have other plans for Lou? Was Lou deemed unsuitable for sacrifice? Or was Lou excluded from the mission for some other reason?
Technically, Lou was malfunctioning at that time, and Sam was instructed to dispose of her in the incinerator, and only stop when he needed her to escape from BTs. And before that, Lou was in use by the corpse disposal team. Detecting BTs was the only stated use for BBs in the first game, but Hartman acts like this is common knowledge.
What kind of cargo?
Sam doesn't recall his wife's voice, since he hears her clearly in this vision.
Now, who was that?
Who is that? Come on. Sam has been through this once before, and the visions he was having then ended up being the memories of the guy who attacked him repeatedly inside the land of the dead. It's not so much of a stretch to assume it's the same here. Your mission? Get in good with the pizza chef so other preppers, including a VTuber, will join the chiral network. Deliver enough packages for the pizza chef, and you can enter his bunker, where he'll mistake Sam for a brigand despite Sam being his delivery man. They've talked multiple times by this point. I have a sin all ready to go with a misidentification, but the pizza-based martial arts, the scene choreography, and then teaching it to Sam to use is so rewarding, I can't help but remove 5 sins for it. Kokora might be Kojima's VTuber Oshi, but her cameo in this game is lore-breaking. There's no travel between continents without a plague gate, not even communication. So what is a Japanese VTuber doing in the Australian outback? Sam doesn't speak Japanese, so does anyone have any idea how he knows what Pecora is wanting him to deliver or to wear?
Fragile? What is tomorrow? We didn't have that where I came from. I don't understand what it means.
I'm kinda glad Sam just checks out for most of the conversations and excuses himself when Kojima is pontificating on things like the meaning of tomorrow and how life is always changing. Occasionally Rennie will spring quizzes on you that feel like the game checking to make sure you're not a bot. Not even Kojima can write an interesting character for Deborah Wilson.
Oh, these. They're chiral hands.
After all these years, Kojima finally got to make a character that actually does have signs of symmetry. He could probably bring up the super baby method again if he wanted. This is the one game where it might make some sense.
You may be suffering from persistent, complex bereavement disorder.
Doctor tells Sam exactly what mental health issue he suffers from, and Sam just ignores it and waits for a tiny puppet man to tell him the exact same thing later.
Mothers in need of support started coming here. But unfortunately, not long after, men came knocking too. Men who wanted women.
I see what you're getting at, Kojima, but in this world, robots and tar ghosts are the big threat, not some random evil men we never see or deal with. You should ask for permission before sticking your creepy psychic surgery hand inside someone's body, but this is Kojima. Sam's lucky Deborah Wilson didn't grab his crotch. Sam could just let go of the gun. That ghost mech on his right doesn't have a grip on his arm. Troy Baker always gets to play guitar at some point. At least Kojima took that contract obligation and made it interesting.
Huh? Was it you that killed Lou?
Sam believes Lou is alive and back in her pod, yet at the same time knows she's dead. How do you fix someone who holds two counterintuitive beliefs and neither one is true?
What do you know about my kid?
If you want answers, you're gonna have to find them yourself.
If you want answers, you'll have to find them yourself. Also, I'm going to use this robotic intestine to kill you again and again, so good luck finding some time to look for answers.
Locking you in a cycle of endless suffering? Well, that's good too. So let's let the glorious game over loop begin.
Kojima feels that it's necessary to remind you that you're playing a game every few cutscenes, just in case you forgot. What follows is an amazing fight between a cyborg ninja and a teleporting cyborg guitarist. It's like Devil May Cry found its way into the game. I guess jerking off Metal Gear Solid fans with constant callbacks to the games is yet another of Kojima's kinks.
Do you remember the coffin Higgs used to make his escape from the weapons factory? Well, it seems we've identified a similar-looking object.
Is it really necessary for me to get a hover coffin just because Higgs has one? Though the hover coffin does let you see an Easter egg if you sleep next to it. Higgs will appear from it and make out with Sam with an octopus tentacle tongue. Somehow Kojima knows my fetish. Just because intermission is a term associated with cinema and stage doesn't mean you get to use it with a game. That's why we have pause buttons. I'm glad the girls on board the Magellan are having fun taking selfies and goofing around while Sam is out there ruining his back while taking on bandits and cyborgs.
You recognize his face?
No, I don't.
Seems familiar to me. A little too familiar.
Neil Vanna.
Neil Vanna? Oh, here I thought he said Nirvana.
Why would he try to say his own name, and only his own name? Sam doesn't know the guy. Peeing is important in this game, but you can't pee in snow for some odd reason, and that's a lost opportunity. Think about peeing in the snow and leaving a message that will appear in other players' games. The next delivery is to the chronobiologist. There's nothing too important with her, but she does send you on a side quest about a headless rider messing up deliveries, which turns out to be a trap set by Higgs, who just wanted to challenge Sam to a good old-fashioned game of Mario Kart. Neil Vanna was receiving therapy from the same location Sam was, from the very same therapist, who he was sleeping with, who also just happened to be Sam's wife. The lady was sleeping with two of her patients who were in the same line of work. One fling? Okay, maybe, but two? At the same time, no less? Now that we know that Neil is connected to Sam's wife, the visions he sees when connecting to the BB pod can now show her face. The metagenomics give Sam X capture grenades that allow you to turn BTs into monsters that you can send into battle against other BTs. These anti-matter ghosts that nearly wiped out humanity are seeming awfully contained. I get that Tomorrow is practicing to control her power, but she is stinking up the Magellan with all those rotten apples she's creating. Ghost cucking is a new one even for Kojima.
It's me, your old pal, Dead Man.
I guess taking over someone's body because they use your old heart makes more sense than doing it to a severed arm.
This would perhaps explain why firearms and other weapons have become commonplace on the Australian continent.
I would say that the end of the world and everyone living in bunkers with no protection services other than themselves is what caused Australians to take up arms.
I must insist you not disclose that we've been in direct contact. There's no telling who may be involved with what at this stage.
Sam has no reason to not report these private calls from the president to Fragile and the others. But he doesn't.
You really should try and put this behind you. And digging up the past won't help.
You say that after you just made the past more mysterious and intriguing by using an endoscope to read the serial number inside Lou's BB pod and learned it was issued around the same time and location as the void out that killed Sam's lover who was pregnant with his child.
Raindrops are falling on my head.
Please, I'm begging you, license more than one song.
What's wrong?
The rudder's unresponsive.
Show me the rudder on this hover submarine.
You know I'm only here to get revenge on you. And Sam.
Are you not surprised that Fragile is alive? Because you know you killed her back in Mexico.
It's all up to you, Sam.
The hell it is. Tomorrow just soloed Higgs and could easily destroy this mech as well. But Sam has to go out and shoot it instead. You can ask Dahlman for his backstory if you talk to him enough. His wife was a nurse in an isolation ward and was swallowed up by a tar tsunami. In a brilliant Father of the Year decision, he took his daughter into the ward to see the BT that his wife had become. Unsurprisingly, that didn't go as he planned, and they both were swallowed up by the tar. But his daughter's soul was trapped in her doll, but somehow he managed to come back and force her soul out to move on, but ended up getting stuck in the doll himself. And somehow Fragile was aware of all this and even knew where to find them in the bog.
What do they call you? The Talon Man, maybe? No. Dahlman suits you better.
Stop allowing this lady to choose your damn name. He had a proper name before he died, and he should insist on using it.
I see you're holding hands now, eh? Hands allow us to connect, form bonds.
Feet allow us to stand up, walk the earth, meet and connect other people by crossing the land. Or how about kidneys allow us to filter our blood, create urine, connect with other humans in the public restroom. This is philosophy for kindergartners.
Has Charlie ever behaved in a manner you felt was suspicious?
Well, now that you mention it, he is a robot mannequin that pops up out of the ship, insisted on using the voice of the former president that you replace, and refuses to say who he is. Other than that, no, nothing.
Despite attempting to confirm his credentials via the UCA's National ID Registry, it does not appear anyone has ever actually met the man.
That's what I would expect when Charlie goes by a fake name. Did you just type in Charlie and get suspicious when no one matched?
I reviewed the contract between APAC and Drawbridge and followed the money. By doing so, I was able to confirm that funding for Drawbridge was provided by none other than Bridges.
What a shock it is to discover that a new organization that is composed heavily of former Bridges members has the exact same mission as Bridges and nearly the same name might have a connection to them. Hartman sends a chirogram covering more info he's found concerning Lou. She was originally going to be the core bridge baby, the only BB they would have sacrificed to build the chiral network in America. But that plan was scrapped in favor of the multiple BB plan. Then Hartman recommends Sam try out some hot springs. Wild swing in context after discussing the mystery of your dead child. And weirdly, hot springs act as a fast travel between springs. There are 3 different forms of fast travel in this game. Kojima took that complaint about the first game a little too seriously.
It would be fair to say that this would make it a government vessel, in effect. Charlie was involved in all of the relevant transactions as well.
Despite all their suspicion of Charlie, APAS took no precautions and continued with their plan despite the fact that the person they hired to carry it out wasn't trustworthy. Why did they even confide in Sam so much about it? According to Deadman, the one who changed Lou's registration number and then kept her from being decommissioned was Bridget, meaning that she must have known that Lou was Sam's biological daughter and then sat on that information for 11 years rather than tell Sam his daughter was alive as he traveled the country with her strapped to his chest.
Guitar goblin!
Higgs is the greatest porch pirate of all time. With the amount of Metal Gear Solid Easter eggs in this game, I get the suspicion Kojima is rushing to remake them before Konami does. I remember the old days when the main character of Kojima's games got to have the awesome cutscenes like this. Rainey fulfills her one and only reason for being here and puts out the fire, endlessly killing Sam.
His heart may have made a full recovery, but the same can't be said of his car. And this journey was also meant to give Sam's mind an opportunity to heal.
That would be the journey across Australia where all of you spent half your time looking into Lou's past, so Sam could never have a moment where he wasn't thinking about her.
Before we set out on our journey together, Fragile, she asked me to help you. To act as your therapist so that you could process the loss of your child.
Not only is Fragile terrible at names, she doesn't understand that therapy can't be a surprise you spring on someone if you want it to be effective. Surprise, you have trauma, isn't really going to work.
Lou's been gone for a long, long time now.
No. Lou's right here. We just traveled across Australia together.
Sam knows Lou is dead. He was so depressed he fired every round from his gun into his own head multiple times to kill himself over and over. He even asked Higgs if he was the one who killed Lou. But all of a sudden, Sam implies that he has no idea that Lou is dead.
The pod you brought on this journey has been empty from the start. The truth is, I'm the one who's been operating your Odra deck. And it's because of that connection that I was able to share your flashbacks.
This may explain why Dollman was able to see the visions of Nirvana, but not why Sam was seeing them in the first place, since there's nothing in the pod to connect him to the world of the dead.
Lou's gone. And that's that.
Well, that was easy enough. Why did you guys drag out the process? This man was ready to heal.
You will never, ever be alone.
Except right now, since I'm going to leave your room right after saying this. Heck of a thing to drop on a guy right before you expect him to finish the job by marching his way through a legion of ghost mechs.
I strongly urge you to proceed with caution.
I strongly urge you to go into a very dangerous fight with great caution. I want to know why the underworld picks and chooses only people connected to Sam and gives them skeleton special forces. During the fight, Neil takes a smoke break and flashbacks to when he was a child and his home was being destroyed, during which his hand was burned by a pendant that embedded in his hand, and he decided to hold on to it for the rest of his life. Even without Neil running away, that girl should be dead. She's trapped under rubble and fire is already biting at her legs. The pendant that embedded in Neil's hand after the explosion remained red hot for several minutes, just so it could burn an identical mark into Lucy's palm. It should have cooled down quickly, and young Neil would have been beside himself in pain while it was doing that.
From Lucy. For you.
The one time someone delivers a package to Sam, and he doesn't get to do the stand there and check the package speech at them. You could have delivered this USB drive to Sam the first time you pulled him into the spirit world instead of trying to kill him on 3 separate occasions. You can squeeze memories out of a dead person like a tube of toothpaste by applying pressure.
You really don't remember me.
I doubt you would have recognized Neil had you not seen the scar in his hand. Meanwhile, yours was hidden on your palm.
What kind of cargo?
Cargo like. Bring death. Pregnant women.
Leaving you to die as a child and then transporting babies for human sacrifice would be a red flag for most women. But not Lucy. Then again, she was sleeping with 2 of her patients, without protection, and ended up pregnant with Sam's child.
Lucy, I love you.
I love him, Neil.
I'll have to take her word for it, since Kojima never bothered to develop Sam and Lucy's relationship.
The child that Lucy was carrying wasn't Neil's. It was yours.
Sucks about losing Lou, but did you know you lost your first child too? I'm a total piece of shit.
You know, she's arguably the best marksman on the ship, which would make her an ideal candidate for the miniguns.
Tomorrow hasn't fired or even touched a gun once. This isn't the time to be making up skills for your bestie.
Be advised that we will only be able to provide fire support within the chiral network. Outside of it, the cannons become inaccurate, meaning too great a risk of collateral damage.
Do your bullets really need a Wi-Fi signal to hit their target?
Per APAS's calculations, establishing a connection here could potentially lead to the manifestation of 3 gates.
Why does the underworld respect modern borders drawn on a map? Wouldn't spreading the chiral network across the entire tectonic plate, which includes New Zealand, make more sense?
Meet again. Good man. Is that really you?
The cyborg ninja is once again the former friend of the main character, which to me says being dead doesn't make much difference if you can still control your body remotely. Sam really needs to learn to let go of the gun when someone grabs it like that.
Sadly, we won't be having ourselves a boss battle this time.
So here's a long cutscene instead.
You see, y'all can't win.
I don't have the heart to tell him that this game is pretty easy. How do you aim the Magellan when surfacing through a tar portal? And why didn't you do this the last time Higgs attacked Sam? Suddenly everyone knows how to use a guitar as a weapon. I mean, I would be a little apprehensive. What if I play the wrong chord and blow myself up?
Don't tell me. You're not human, are you?
The president is an AI that plans to control humanity's evolution by restricting travel and communication. It's just not as impressive the second time, Kojima.
Henceforth, we will search for additional plate gates, then extend our reach to new continents.
Oh yeah? What then?
With the support of the chiral network and APAS, humanity will be free from the need to move around, and free from the need for porters.
You've only linked up the US, Mexico, and Australia. That's not even half of the world. So why reveal all this to him in such an antagonistic way, ensuring it won't help you link up the other continents? There's really no point since you weren't trying to convince him to help you further. You could have placed Sam in a trance like the rest of the crew and gone about your plan.
What are you?
Hello there, Sam.
APAS is a computer network that converged with the souls of thousands of humans who are caught in a void out, and this old Russian guy is the face of it. So essentially, Kojima is telling us Russian bots are the enemy.
We will save you by putting an end to travel and physical interaction.
APAS's plan is to isolate humans into always online needs, whose every need is met by delivery bots while they evolutionarily stagnate. You know, throw in some anime and video games, and this plan ain't sounding half bad. It's pretty much what's already happening. Oh wait, that's the message, isn't it, Kojima? He turned his book to dark mode.
As caretakers, we will regulate the activity of other species to ensure that none claim your mantle of apex predator.
I'm pretty sure Kojima ripped this idea right out of Gurren Lagann.
Humanity will be free to thrive in perpetuity, having evolved into a form that allows you to escape extinction.
This is basically the exact opposite of President Armstrong's plan when you get down to it. That man wanted extreme individualism. I get to reference Metal Gear games in this video just as much as Kojima did. Kojima saw that Alan Wake 2 was able to get a lot of applause for having a music number and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the former president of the United States of America."
Just who is pulling your strings?
You don't have any questions about why he just performed a choreographed music number?
I take it not even APAS was aware that I've been posing as Charlie this whole time.
APAS can't have been that smart if it didn't see that one coming.
The fact is, APAS has never had complete access to Drawbridge's data. Our new Cupid design allows us to restrict connection and limit the flow of information. I oversaw the creation of the Drawbridge prototype during my time as director of bridges.
But how did you know you would need that in case of a sentient AI hive mind that wants to stagnate humanity through drone delivery? That's one hell of a correct assumption.
I dare say there are some among you who already deduced the name's double meaning. That's right. The DHV Magellan. Or to spell it out, Die Hardman's vessel.
That was actually a much more subtle clue. I think most players would become aware when you insisted upon using Die Hardman's voice, which when you consider that remaining secret was mission critical, why were you so adamant on that point? Tomorrow doesn't even know who Die Hardman is. Why would she react that positively to a weird stranger waking her up?
Physical sensation of movement is something we all crave. That unity of body and soul.
Kojima wants you to touch grass. Finally, a game that said it.
Until moments ago, each of you was trapped in an elaborate illusion created by the president.
Why did you have to go and make it political, Kojima?
Higgs. Broadcasting live from the beach.
Kojima, are you using Death Stranding to redo all the dumbest plot points from Metal Gear Solid? Just to prove that you were right? Why else would you have a dead person take control of another person's body twice in this game?
Still in the dark, huh?
Your genes lined up beautifully.
God damn, man. She's your daughter.
You would think when they were doing medical exams on Tomorrow after finding her, they would have learned the same thing Higgs did after testing the strand of hair he took from her. Though I have to wonder how Higgs had some of Sam's DNA to test Tomorrow's against.
We'll be waiting on the beach.
We have a subtitle.
Actually, it's not impossible. As a member of Bridges with Dooms, you were obligated to provide sperm samples.
What? Why would you need that for a porting job? I don't recall Sam jerking it into a test tube during the suit-up sequence in the first game. Despite her jump shock, Fragile is willing to help them reach the beach where Higgs took Tomorrow. To do that, they need something connected to Amelie and the kipu of hers that Higgs wears, which ends up being the photo of Sam, Lucy, and Bridget that Sam left behind in his bunker back in the US. So it's time to track back across Australia to the Plague Gate, as the tar currents are too unstable to allow the Magellan to return home, which always seems to be the case with this damn thing. At least they equip Sam with his own guitar. Mexico is pretty trippy right now. The sea is in the sky and there are invisible walls and death pits to keep you from going where the game doesn't want you to go, which seems to line up pretty close to APAS's plan, meaning they wanted to make the world and humanity into a more linear video game. Oh, that's your real message, isn't it, Kojima? Higgs is the first villain to troll the main character relentlessly over social media by shitposting fan fiction of the life Sam was denied with Lou. I never felt a bit of chemistry between Sam and Fragile, but sure, they need love to be able to jump to where Tomorrow is. Lochna and Mama are not in this game outside of Die Hardman mentioning that they developed a new Cupid. How are they helping with their own dooms when they're not even present?
Take the guitar with you. It's the perfect weapon for a place like this.
Take the rock guitar is a line I demand all games include in their climax from here on. Hartman and Deadman somehow know they can blow off the head of a supergiant BT and then mount the Magellan on its neck and pilot it like a Metal Gear. They better hope Higgs doesn't know to target the Ray Dome to blind the VR environment control system. Hurt me, Sam. Hurt me more. You might as well add that quote. You've referenced everything else at this point. Kojima has a gift, and that gift is making every villain into Liquid Snake eventually. I guess Higgs kept going on about good old-fashioned boss fights since he had something grander planned for himself. Here are a few things that happened during this confrontation. Higgs pulls out a double guitar axe. Higgs and Sam have a guitar shootout amidst the tombstone-like servers of APAS. Higgs commands a giant BT to play dominoes while playing his guitar. And that's just stage 1 of this fight. I think we can add topless men fighting on top of something's head to the growing list of known Kojima kinks.
Get you waiting, huh? It ain't over yet.
I dislike that Kojima can get away with this since he has his goddamn hooks in me. I didn't know Sam knew how to shred. The only instrument he plays is the harmonica. But how do you shred harder than someone and push them back? By all visual evidence, Higgs won and opened the way to the Last Stranding. But then the game just goes, nuh-uh, and drops a giant loo into the map to wrap things up. Baby-proof your home by picking up any loose Troy Bakers lying around. Young children can't resist putting him in their mouth. Kojima can't just rip off the ending of Silent Hill 1 like that, can he? Is there any way of holding this man accountable at this point? Remember that prank at the beginning where Kojima faked wasting your time with a mountain trek if you refused a job twice? It was never a joke. Fragile is dead, and has been dead ever since she was shot by Higgs. Due to her connection to the world of the dead through her jumps, and the time difference between the two, she was dead in one world and it hadn't caught up in ours yet, meaning she literally had death jet lag. I think. This is one of those things that doesn't make any sense and leaves you wondering just what the rules of this world even are. Somehow Lou was able to connect the two of them to APAS, and Fragile left Lou with them, since a bunch of disembodied ghosts who want to stagnate humanity seemed like a better idea than finding a way to rescue Lou from the beach and bring her home. So Fragile forgot all about this, but remembered just enough to tell Sam that Lou was dead, then recruited him to do a job so he could heal from the trauma she caused. As they make the return trip, Neil Vaughn is there so we can see the full story. Essentially, Lucy wanted to flee since her baby would be of great interest to Bridges, since Lou was the child of Sam, the world's first BB and repatriate. She must have forgotten that Sam was a surrogate son of the president of the US back then, who probably had ways of protecting them, which is exactly what Bridget ended up doing. But instead she lied and said the baby was Neil's and planned to run away with him. Neil agreed to help, but then they were caught and shot, Lucy becoming a brain-dead still mother and Neil dying. Later, Neil's body necrotized and he became a BT who came into contact with Sam, who was searching the facility for Lucy and triggered a void out. And then Sam forgot all about this ever happening, even though he never forgot anything else after repatriating. Sam doesn't seem that upset over the knowledge that his void out 11 years ago killed a lot of innocent people. Just how did no one notice Tomorrow's birthmark before now? Her arms were uncovered the entire time. Sam needs to work on his parenting. Lou picked up smoking in a dangerous line of work. This isn't the first time Kojima has tried to replace the male lead with a blonde lady.
I get the feeling there may be a long cutscene in the near future.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoy it when I make fun of Kojima's games, head over to my Patreon for an exclusive Classic Sin video covering Metal Gear Solid 1. For everyone else, consider subscribing to the channel if you're new, and then liking and voting for which of these two games you want to see me sin next. I'm going to be ramping up content output over the fall and winter season, so expect more videos. So turn on notifications as well. Special thanks to Verdictions, Vanilla Pixel, Brainwayne, Chris, Solomon McGuire, Alexander Q. Cortez, Roman Are You Sleeping, Nervous Nelly, Xavier, Notorious SKP, Max Headroom, DJ Nelson, Asinith the Succubus, Musical Pumpkin, Castlemania, Zinro, Michelle C., Dennis O'Brien, Donald Talbot, Montezuma, Aaron Hines, Sky is Under, Eric Kisser, Shadow Wolf Gaming, Erpel Jaeger, Church Kiones, S. Venus, Mario Neto, Ben Hottie, Biohazard, and Charmsy.